all of the final touches on any facial reconstructive masks that we do here. Now, I understand this is a war injury. Yeah. This World War has just been atrocious for everybody involved. Now, does anything hurt, or is it real tender at all? Okay. And have you noticed any sort of sensitivity to heat or cold at all? Not really? Okay. That's wonderful. I like to make sure that each injury is healed to a certain amount before we really do any sort of extensive work on your particular mask, just to ensure ourselves and you that it will last you a long time and be very comfortable when worn. Now, everything looks really wonderfully healed so far. Have you noticed any odd things about it? Okay. No, that shouldn't be a problem at all. So, we did get your plaster cast from the other week. And from that mold, we will make the fitting out of wax first, and then we finalize it as a tin plate, a sculpted tin plate. It's going to be extremely light when worn. The tin is incredibly thin, so it'll feel almost weightless once it's on. You'll barely even notice it. Or at least that is the goal. Now, just to check the facial structure and muscles that you currently have, would you just give me a nice big smile? Just hold that for a minute. Okay, you can relax. Wonderful. And now, a very sad frown. Okay, and you can relax. And now, will you do your best to just completely relax your face? Just loosen all the muscles. The eyebrows, the forehead, the cheeks, the chin. Good. It's really good. Wonderful. Okay, you can go back to neutral. So, they did start your wax fitting, which I will be showing you today if you're ready to view it. Now, this wax fitting today is going to be much heavier due to the material. And again, it is just to get the base idea of what we're going for. as far as sculpture. Now, the tin plate itself will be much smoother. The tones will be fitted to your exact skin tone, so don't feel like what you see today is the final piece at all. Now, today has, well, I'll just show you. So this is the start of what we have. As you can see, it just has the basic shape to fit right over your injury. It will eventually smooth out the surface, and these edges right now that are a bit hard will actually become flush with the skin once worn, and obviously color matched. So we did fit it with a very rough pair of glasses, just wire frames that we bent ourselves to give you the idea of what they will look like. And thank you again for bringing in those reference photos for us to sculpt from. It is incredibly helpful, especially when trying to reproduce a similar look to what you once had. But as you can see, we did try to sculpt the nose and the eye to relatively the same shape already. But the texture of the skin itself is still a bit lumpy, so to say, which that will again all be smoothed out once we've recreated it in tin, but it should fit quite snugly with your particular face, as we have made the mold to fit you. Would you like to try it on just to see how it fits? Okay. Now, this shouldn't hurt at all, but let me know if for some reason it's unpleasant to wear for any reason at all, okay? Alright. Now, as I was going to say before, today we will attach it with a strap, but obviously when the product itself is finished, it will just simply be attached to the pair of glasses that you've selected to make it for very quick removal and application if needed. We want to make sure that you have access to your injury. We don't want to cover it and seal it, just due to the body's natural regenerative processes and keeping it clean. Alright. I think it looks quite nice. And again, it does feel a little heavy. But as I said before, the tin will be much, much lighter. You'll barely even notice it, like a little feather floating across your face. Now, I will have you come back in about a week once I get the final sculpting part of it done, just to make sure that we get the pigments exactly where we want them to be. But this, I think, is a pretty excellent start. I'm just going to double check to make sure that the pieces that we have are fitting appropriately as they should. Okay? Oh, it's not a complicated story, but I was born in Pennsylvania, and I did my art studies in Europe, so I'm much more classically trained in that way. And I mastered in sculpture. Actually, I have a piece on display over there right now. But once I came back to the United States, I obviously got married, and I did study for a little while with Francis Wood. Do you know him? Oh, he is an absolutely excellent sculptor. But he was the originator of making masks to help alleviate the visual side of people's injuries or wounds. He started out working mostly with patients of syphilis, as it tends to attack very soft tissues such as the nose, ears, lips. So he found that finding a way for people to feel whole again, in a way, really helped their mental states a remarkable amount. I myself have noticed the same thing. I've even had some soldiers who've told me that they've not even seen their own families until I created a mask for them to wear because they were too humiliated by their injuries. It's incredibly tragic. It's certainly nothing to be ashamed about. It's not something that anybody chooses for themselves, but something they are forced to adapt to. So the best thing that we can do for you is make you feel comfortable and as yourself. All right. And the alignment of eyes, the pupils, the nose, lightly smoothing there, but it's good. Okay. And is it rubbing anywhere in particular, or do you feel a lot of pressure in any particular part of the mask? No? Excellent. Okay. So I'm going to remove it for you. And as I said, today we just have attached it with a strap. So when you do get your final piece, it won't be as rough as this copy. The glasses, again, will be the ones that you have chosen, and the next time you stop in will be the final process of painting your tin plate to match your skin tone, and it will be enamel paint, so you don't have to worry about any sort of chipping, scraping, it washing off of any sort, you can feel comfortable that it will remain in place and as stable as it possibly can be. How does that feel? Wonderful. Well, now that we've gotten all of that looked at, you can just plan on coming back in a week or so. We'll go ahead and get you scheduled, and we'll have you looking and feeling your absolute best. I'll be happy to see you soon.